Good morning. Welcome to the third and final painting class for our project here. We'll be going over just a few more different types of materials and how I'm going to approach painting those areas. And then using same techniques I've showed for the first, second, and third painting lesson, you can just kind of complete the character from there. So, and then we still have two more classes of this project left, and in the last two classes, we're going to be doing the base. We're going to be creating, I'm going to use mixed media materials and show you my method of using mixed media to make the base come to life in a pretty simple, it's not too complex of a way, and it looks really nice. So I will share all the secrets now. Before we get into making the base, usually the whole piece is painted by that point, so it's worth knowing. It's worth knowing that and any sort of accessory that goes inside the base needs to be painted as well before we step into the next class. Okay, so keep that in mind. There's always more secrets. There's always more secrets. I mean, that's the reality of it, to be honest. I'm on a process of discovery. That, you know, even to this day, my workflow changes, you know, so you're constantly discovering new things and adding them to your workflow. So as I discover those new things, I share them with you. That process tends to change over time. So looks like it'll be busy this week. Yes, it will. It'll be. So I'll have to finish this. I imagine I will bring in the help of the painting department to help me finish this paint job. But anyways, we got no time to waste. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So let's see here. To place a few things here. There we go, that works. Okay, so I'd like to go over how I gonna do like something that's leather, okay? And I want to show you guys how to do the layers on the metal and make the metal look more convincing. And then probably the wicker basket and how I'm going to deal with the wood. And we'll just try and get to those. And maybe on here too, on the staff. But let's first jump over to our reference, and I will try to kind of show you guys how when you're looking at how something looks, how do you break it down into layers of color. So let's see, bring this up. So for example, I was looking at this piece right here, and when you look at it, your mind automatically simplifies things. It's like, oh, that's brown and tan. And it's like, well, if you just painted that leather part brown, then it's not going to look the same. You have to train your eye to see that, no, that's actually orange with like a brown wash on top of it, like a dark brown wash. So you can see it right here. See? So imagine if we were to paint this like an orange color, and then we did a wash over the whole thing with a dark brown color, and leaving the dark brown in these kind of recessed areas will create this exact same effect, you know. So I like orangey browns like this. So secret orange, yeah. See, it looks, your initial instinct is like, oh, this is brown. It's like, no, it's actually orange with brown on top of it. So the more you kind of get into this way of thinking, you can start really looking at reference and kind of deciphering what layers of colors would you need to make whatever it is. Let's go back to here. Okay. Isn't brown just dark orange? Yeah, it's true. That's true. I used to not buy any pre-mixed colors a long time ago. I used to mix all my own colors, and the easiest way to make a nice rich brown was to actually take like fluorescent orange or make a nice orange and then just add black to it, and that makes instant nice colored brown. So let's see here. So like this, for example, huh? So same thing. I can see that this is like a yellowish, tannish color with different, you can see different colors of wash on top. So the way I would approach painting this is I would paint it all that tan yellow color. It's going to look really bright and not correct. But then once you add these little layers of wash of this rich brown or this black, or, you know, it's going to start to come to life. So orange mixed with purple makes brown. That's true. In the tradition, yeah, you know, it's worth noting. So my grandma is a traditional oil painter, and she always never allowed us to have black paint on the palette. So you're not in the. I mean, Greg is a very skilled painter, so he knows this, that you usually don't use black to make your colors. You try to use other colors to mix what you want, you know. So orange with purple would make black. Yeah, isn't it if you take complementary colors and mix them, it usually makes brown or black, something like that. There's some sort of color theory lesson in there. Okay, let's see what else there is that we can just pick apart. Oh, here, let's look at. So again, you can see here, look for the color, the base color. You're always looking for the base color, like for this right here. You know, that's an easy one. Base color is this kind of yellowish tan with a really light wash over it to, you know, dirty it up. Or like this, let's see. Now this one you can see, look at the base color. So look past this darkness on the outside and look at this base color. This red, it's like a red brown. So you can do like a red brown, really it's gonna be really bright and weird, but then you do this thicker dark wash over it and make it look just like that. Yeah. Here's a perfect example of how we have two different, they're both brown, right? But they're very different colored browns, and you can see the base color. This is like an orangey brown with a dark wash on it, and this is like a more of like a yellowy orangey brown with less of a dark wash on it. So okay, all right, so now with that in mind, let's step into color. So I was thinking I think for the demonstrating of the leather, we could do the one of the shoes. Even though naturally I would, oh, I actually did. I base colored the sock here. So you would naturally you would paint the sock first, and then you would get into the shoe. But we're just gonna skip to the shoe for the sake of demonstration. Oh yeah, this is filters here, right? I think is it this one? Uh-oh, I didn't label my filters. Oh! Well, what the heck is that? Okay, hold on. Let me just break my setup real quick here. Oh, my chat. How did I do that? I like grabbed a comment. Oh, like. Okay, I didn't know I could do that. Let's remove that. Brown wash all the things. That's true. Yes. Okay, now I gotta figure out. I didn't label my filters here. I'll have to go. I'll just have to go with this. Okay. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. I'm yelling on the screen. All right. Let's see. So let's make a nice. Let's just do a nice orange color here. So we have our brown, just our basic muddy brown, but we're gonna take our yellow and our red, and we're gonna make an orange. Or you know what? Let's start. Sometimes it's easier if you just have a base brown, and we're just gonna add red and yellow to it till it's the base color that we want. So let's give this a mix. Hey, hello, Kamals. Okay. So, let's start with our brown here. Let's, yeah. Give these all a shake. It's good to shake up your paints. There's gonna be the time when you don't shake your paint, and then you gotta put it on your palette, and it's all separated and weird. Always. Perfect way to tone down vibrant colors. I usually mix, I don't know what you do there, Greg, but I usually just mix some gray into something to tone it down. Okay. Some yellow. And some red. Oh, that one's needs to be declogged. Always have a declogger. And oh, I just lost my cap. You could, but it could muddy the color. Depends on the undertone colors that makes up the base color, like warm versus cool blues. Wait, what did Clayton say? Adding complement lowers the saturation. Oh, okay, that's what it is. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's start with this color here. And we're just gonna figure out what kind of color we want to use here. Let me add some yellow. That's gonna lighten it up. I usually, when I know I'm gonna do a process that's gonna be a lot of washes on top, I usually like my base color to be a little bit on the lighter side of the spectrum, you know, Because if you have a dark base color and then you do washes on top, you're not going to really see it very much. So okay, now we're going to slow it. Red tends to be pretty strong, so we're just going to add a little bit at a time. Get that nice rich kind of orangey brown. Probably enough. You could add white to lighten it up, but the yellow definitely did the trick. There. That's a good base color. This is essentially how you get brown variety, okay? Right here. Is you start with your base brown and you can just add different amounts of yellow and red and create all kinds of different colors of brown. Even just adding yellow or just adding red. Okay, so I'm gonna base coat this. Now I want to make sure I get it into all the, when you're doing your base color, make sure you get it into all these little nooks and crannies. You know, you don't want to leave little gray spots in between. Okay, so we're just going to get it where it's going. Really kind of move the brush all around in different angles to make sure we're getting in between all those little stitches. And you always wait to paint in stuff like stitches and everything until like the very end. Once it's all once the leather on the shoes pretty much done. To help mix paint in the bottle, is it okay to warm it up? I wouldn't. I wouldn't mess with temperature and paint. Different paints react differently for temperature. If maybe if it were oil paint, I could see that possibly making it more, you know, upping the viscosity. But this is not oil paint, this is acrylic, which I could see heating it up, maybe even causing it to cure or to harden even. There we go. Just get a nice even coverage. Anytime you paint an area that you kind of laid it on pretty thick, just spread your brush over to the next area and then go back and just kind of keep going over the area until you don't see any more kind of thick paint. That's the key to making sure there's no drips or brush strokes or anything like that. It's just kind of as it's drying, you're just kind of continuously going over the area. It's a nice that's a really nice brown. I like that. I think if we're smart, if we're gonna be wise here, and we should, even though I'm just gonna demo one shoe, I'm going to base coat the other one so that way they're the same color while we have this color in front of us. So I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of water. So I dipped my brush and then I kind of wiped off the excess water just to wet it just a little bit. If you wet your base color too much, then it doesn't cover well. So just enough. That balance between wetting it just enough to let it flow better, but not too much where it starts becoming translucent, you know. And you know, different paints react differently. So if you end up buying like a cheaper paint, it's gonna need more coats. You know, it's not gonna cover very well, and if you add any water to it, it's gonna be a nightmare to get it to cover. That's just like, so it's worth mentioning. So let's say there was a part of this character we wanted to be like a bright yellow color. I would not just take bright yellow and just paint that. Or like blonde hair or something like that, or like a bleach blonde hair. You want to just paint it white first. Get your best covering white you have and paint it white first, and then go over with the yellow, because yellow is one of the colors that's just tends to always be harder to cover, or it has a hard time covering up other colors that are underneath it. So by painting whatever it is white first, it'll let you get that really bright yellow finish. So now I didn't paint this kind of rope detail on the top there. We're just gonna leave that. That'll be a different color, but I do want to make sure that the brown is all the way up to that. These undersides of these shoes need a little bit more. Yeah, so since I have a lot of, or I guess I should say we have a lot of different color variations that are pre-mixed. We tried to use what we have available, but we still end up mixing. Because here's the thing, since I work with another painter, by having pre-mixed colors, we're able to, kind of like we do with this little basket here, whenever we use a color on a project, we set it in like a basket and label it such and such project. So that way, if I was to pick up a paint job that she had already started, I'd have the exact colors that she used, you know. So yeah, I see a couple of subscriptions coming in. I will definitely get to you guys at the end of the class today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So that's the benefit of the pre-mixed colors, is it saves you time. And it's just easier to kind of pick up where you left off, or for someone else to pick up where you left off, in my case. So I can see it, there's just a little bit of gray shining through in between these little laces here, so we're gonna really make sure we get in there. I'd say this is the nice part about layered painting, is even if we were to miss a little bit, by the time we get through all our layers that go on top of this, everything should be covered with a color. It's a very nice brown there, fellow. Okay, let's let that dry. Actually, I need some tissue papers. Yeah. I always keep a little wad of tissue paper right in my lap right here, so when you need to quickly, you know, dry off your brush, or you put paint where you don't want it, you need to remove it right away, you know. Acrylic's all about just, you can't really mess up the acrylic paint job if you're use a hairdryer to speed dry time. I don't know. So when I paint, I tend to bounce around, so like it's a little harder to do because we're trying to stay on task for the class here. But like when I paint the shoes, I would base coat the shoes, and then I'd be painting, for example, like the hat, and then by the time I got done base coating this will be dry, and I could do the next step here, then back up to here, then here, you know. And then so you're always kind of tackling two different sections at a time that are not attached, that are separate from each other, you know, because there's plenty to do, you know, plenty to do. We could even do that. So let's mix this base color right here, which is gonna be leather, but maybe like, I'm thinking like almost like maybe like a reddish kind of leather on this front part of the hat. All right, now, you know, let's just take this color we got here. And yeah, we'll just add some more red to it. Oh, too much red. There wasn't that much color in there. Need more brown. Yeah, just a slight tint towards the red side. That's good. Drip of water. Okay. And we'll base coat this part of the hat. Make sure it's going into all those little details. I'm just painting, even though this section's not going to end up being this color, I'm just getting this paint really worked into these like harder to reach recesses. Because I'd rather there be some color there than no color, in case I was to miss it in the next layers. I just don't want that gray shining through. No, we just started talking. We talked about the base coating and how to really identify and pick out your colors. Okay, tip of the hat there. It's a nice reddish brown. I like that color. Brown variety. So we can already see the starting tone of this one and this one are different, but also not so different that they're kind of like standing out. That's good, Red Ticket. Okay, so as you can see, the shoes are dry now. So we just got done with that, and we bounce back to the shoes. Now we're just gonna focus on one shoe here, one shoe. Even though when you paint yours, you should do more than just one shoe. You should focus on them both. That way you don't have to kind of remember your steps. So I'm gonna make a yellow brown, and we're gonna do dry brushing first before we do the washing step. I'm not doing the back now. So the back of the hat is this section here is a different color. What you saw me do is called overlapping. So pretty much you could just paint the whole thing brown, but I know this is going to be a different color. But I really made sure that the brush, that the color of the brown is underneath that edge there. So it's creating like an overlap. So when I come in with this color, I'll go really carefully and make that nice clean line, you know, so. Because sometimes, let's say you're very careful about making this line right here with the brown. Then you're very careful about making this line with this color. Sometimes you have a little strip of gray in the middle where the sections didn't quite meet up, you know? So it's better to, with your first color, to overkill it, to overlap it. And then with the color, the next section, then you do your line. And that way, even if your line isn't perfect, nobody's gonna see that there's this gray bit of clay in the middle. You know, it's gonna look good. So what color is the back gonna be? I don't know. Probably going with the theme. It might be like a green, like this one. You know, so we have this kind of green and brown theme going on, or it might be something completely different. I don't know. I haven't made that decision yet. Just, I meant, because like the material kind of looks like cloth, or it might be a different color leather maybe, because of the texture being different than this, so. You want to avoid situations where the whole character looks like it's all one kind of color, you know, so you always want to create contrast for sure. So all right, let's make our yellow here, yellow brown. This will be our dry brushing color. I'm gonna take all this and just bring it in here. Actually, you know what, let's go over here. Sometimes but I realized that there's too much brown in here, so I just removed the yellow brown and brought it into here, into the next cell. I think that might be the color we want right there. Which I know it looks really bright, but trust me. Okay. That's gonna be our dry brush color. Try and remove the paint, and we're gonna use this makeup brush. Oh. There we go. Just gonna load it up. It does, yeah. Yeah, counting the drops, just like Clayton says, is a good practice to get into. Because then you know, oh, it's like, you know, 2 drops of this to 1 drop. You figure out like kind of your ratio. That's a good tip. Okay, so I'm thinking about how the light's gonna be kind of hitting the shoe here, and I'm just gonna dry brush in the middle here. I can actually already see that this is gonna need to be brighter. So this is a little bit of a heavier dry brush where I dip it in the paint, and you can remove just a little bit of the paint, so it actually dispenses more paint. Kind of like this, yeah. And I'm just making sure that the direction I'm brushing is not with the flow of the detail. It's going against the flow. So the lines in the detail are going this way. So I'm dry brushing that way. And that just makes it so it will go in those it won't go in those recesses as much. Leaves behind that undertoned brown. So, and then feather it out as you get to the edge here. So yeah, nice little highlight on the shoe. As you use the brush more, it's going to get more and more faint, which will let you blend even more. I don't know, let's see here. I didn't label my filters correctly, so. I don't know. Is this the correct one? Does that look good? I mean, yeah, that is easier to see. Okay, yeah, that should be good. Now, I'm not going to go all the way to the edge here, to the edge of the shoe. There's a green tint to the video. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was this one? Is that the one? Oh, that looks better. Yeah, that was the one. Okay, I'm gonna do the back of the shoe. Same thing. I'm gonna highlight the back of the shoe, and I'm gonna leave, as it gets closer to the seam line here, it's gonna get less intense, the dry brush. That looks nice. Okay, so I would do the other shoe, but for the sake of time, we're gonna stay focused on one shoe. So let me rinse my brush, and we're gonna switch to washes now. Now let's see. Let's take our base brown color. This is, yeah, it's a makeup brush. I have a bunch of different ones, but yeah. Makeup brushes work great. I didn't use them for the longest time, and I think it was the missus who started using them. I'm like, you know, that's actually a really smart idea. I found it on the bathroom counter. Hey, look at this wonderful brush here. I wonder who left it. I'll take that. Alright, so I'm gonna take our base brown here, and we're gonna add just a little bit of black to darken it. We want it a little bit darker. This is gonna be our wash color. Find it, pure black. Here we go. Yep, now you gotta do the awkward going to the grocery store and buying makeup brushes. How many weird things I buy at the store that you get funny looks for for the name of art. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's just the makeup brush, it doesn't leave. Sometimes with dry brushing, you can accidentally dispense too much paint and you're leaving behind like brush strokes and stuff. The makeup brush tends to not do that, so you know, I like using these little trays here, and this is how I always do it. When you're gonna mix the colors together, don't put them on top of each other. Always separate your colors first and then slowly kind of mix them until you have what you're looking for. So, and you'll start to learn which colors are stronger than others. See, like I just added a tiny bit of that black and it already darkened it down so much, you know. Let's do just a tiny bit more. All right, a tiny bit more. All right, tiny bit more. Alright, a little bit more. There we go, that's good. That's a nice dirty brown. Okay, so this is gonna be our wash. We can do a general wash, which is like a really thinned out wash that you go over the whole thing with first, kind of like what we did with the skin tone. Or we can do like an area specific wash where we just applying the dark color to like right here and then blending it out. So general wash. The name's wash. General wash. Just an overarching coverage there. So let's take some of this and put it here, and then we'll get it really liquidy. I just kind of go over the whole area of the shoe. That's good. You can see how it leaves behind there. Washington. Alright, ready? And we're just gonna go over the whole shoe. Nice and evenly, just like with the skin tone. You could technically do as many layers as you want until you have the desired result there. We'll just do that. Starting to look better. And now washes tend to take a little bit longer to dry than because there's, you know, more water there. So I'm just making sure it's not pooled up anywhere that I don't want it. So we're looking, but it looks good. So we'll let that dry and we'll go back to our section up here at the hat here. The section right there. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to go back to our reddish brown color here. Okay. Where's my dry brush? Oh, right here. We're going to mix in with a reddish brown. We could mix in yellow to lighten it up, but it's going to change it. So we'll probably end up mixing just some white. Just have to be careful because it can become pink pretty quick. Just a tiny bit of white. Take this, just this tiny bit of wood, a tiny bit more. That was a lot of it, but that'll be just fine. It's like the washed out color of the base color, like washing it out by lightening it. Okay, so kind of go right here in the middle, really bright up here, and then it fades as it gets towards the base of the hat. This is, you get to control where the shadows are and where the highlights are. Totally up to you. Sometimes you're following like the light coming down, and sometimes you're not defining the light, but you're defining the wear and the tear on something. Because when something's more worn, it's faded. So there we go. Clean our brush. See how that's looking. looking pretty good. Still drying though. Let's do our washes on this. I want to show you specifically the metal part, not so much the handle. So for this, I think I'm just going to use black. Yeah. Just take some of this black here. And when I do, so you paint the metal color, just solid metal, and I'm gonna do kind of a thicker wash actually, so it's not moving around so much, kind of like that. And we're just gonna get in here and cover the whole thing. Okay. Now we take our little tissue here. I'm gonna start kind of dabbing it, strategically removing it. A little bit more here towards the handle. Move the brush strokes by just dabbing it in there. Okay, let's do the other side here. So you can see this is, it's not very watered down. It is watered down, but it stays on pretty thick. It's not running all over the place. Alright, we'll let that dry and then we'll do another layer. How's our shoe doing? Still drying. Oh, we can do the wash on the hat now. I want to show you this technique of, here, I'll show you another way we can do kind of some shading. Let's take some of this brown, add in some of that red. Just a smidge. Then we need black. A little bit more black. Hey, Gonzo, no problem, my friend. Thanks for tuning in. Alright, that was a lot. That's alright, we're gonna work with it. So we're gonna take just a little bit of water. We want it to be thicker, just like the just like what we just did on the metal there. Kind of a thicker wash. And we're gonna add it into these recessed areas. Like this. Kind of like blocking in the area, and then you rinse your brush wipe away the extra water, but the brush is still a little bit wet. And you're just going to just touch the edge. Move the brush around and just touch the edge. And it'll blend the edges so you don't see those transitions. That on the other side here. So we're keeping the faded kind of look. Just maybe around the whole perimeter of this metal part. Just like this. And then we rinse the brush, wipe off the excess water, and then we just very quickly we're just touching that line just with the tip of the brush, making that line go away. It's another method of using washes that I really like. And you can see, you know, we created this kind of darkness around this metal part, so when we paint that, it's really going to have a lot of, you know, it's going to have a lot of contrast. We're using Reaper Miniatures paints. This is starting to dry, but there's still some. It's still a little bit wet there. Alright, let's go back to our blade. Bet you this is dry. This wash dries quicker because it was less water, so. So now we can do another layer of that dark color. I don't think we even used this one. Oh, it was this one right here. This one. No, I think we used just black, but now I'm going to go in with a brown, just because. Why not, right? And I'm going to bring out these certain sections here. Like this. Rinse the brush. Okay, it's a little bit too much. We're gonna have to remove some. Oh, this is acrylic paint. Yes, it's an acrylic paint. So I'm establishing kind of a dark brown region here because we're gonna make it look like rust. So starting with the dark brown, establishing some rustiness there towards the base. Rust tends to develop where kind of where the water kind of resides in the crevices, or anytime there's like metal parts that meet up, like with bolts and stuff, there tends to be rust there. So I've actually already sculpted in kind of rust right here at the base. Acrylic is water soluble. That's true. It's not watercolor though. Not watercolors. Making sure we don't have any lines. Again, you just move quickly with the brush, and you can't even, if you want, you can have just a dedicated brush in the water that's not used for paint but for blending. But I just, you know, I just rinse the brush and go that way. Okay, I'll let that dry. How's our shoe doing? Still not dry. It's those thinner washes definitely take longer, but you can see it's created a nice, just leathery, overarching kind of hue to the whole thing, right? Nah. No, we're not in a rush. I could use a heat gun. Could do that. But let's you know, let's transition over to this mixed media stuff here. And you're gonna really see this come to life. So we're just gonna take, because we already have kind of a dark brown wash here, and get it really watery. And we're just going to paint the watery paint onto the wood. It's going to be very absorbent. Just like that. Really watery, because the wood kind of soaks it in quite a bit. You're kind of creating just a stain. Get some more of this here. Base brown, a little bit of black. Add in our water. Same thing with the ropes. Just kind of go over the whole thing with the wash. The ropes will absorb it differently and naturally look of a different color. gets too dark, you just kind of dip your brush in water. Kind of helps move that pigment around. Pretty cool, huh? That's pretty much, I just do washes on the mixed media stuff like this. You can add a little bit like darkness in some areas, and then when you do, you can do a highlight on the edge, like a faded look, using like a grayish brown after you're done doing all the washing. It's almost dry. Let's actually gravitate towards this. It's just acrylic. It's not acrylic ink right here. This is made by Reaper Miniatures. It's their Master Series paint. It's very high in pigmentation. It's really nice stuff. Okay, so I'm going to take this yellow color. We're going to make a base color for the basket part. I want to show you guys that. I'm going to just pour it right into where the remaining amount of that wash is right there. We need a larger amount of this. So. I bet you this will give us a nice kind of... I probably need a little bit more. I'll add a little bit of... You have to be careful when you add black into yellow because it could turn green depending on the type of black. So we're just going to add maybe a drop or two of brown here. I want to end up with a kind of like a tan color. Sandy, tannish. Maybe one more drop of brown. Yeah, I used to use tube paint for the longest time until I switched over to Reaper paints. And, you know, tube paint works just fine. Usually you just have to thin it out a little bit more. But after using a good set of modeling paints designed for painting models, it's definitely the way to go if you can get some. But I used tube paints for years and years. I didn't. No, Amy. No. Today's actually, so sorry if I'm not being as reactive to chat as I normally am. Today's kind of really focused. It's a class today, painting class. So I'm really focused on just kind of keeping momentum moving forward on the instruction. And there'll be moments where I'll catch up with chat, but let's see here. Okay, so this is our base color for the basket. So we're just gonna get in here and really want to make sure it's in all those little recesses we've created here. And it's gonna look really bright and weird, but once we add all those wash coats on top, we're gonna be able to really hone it in. Just a suggestion. Well, it's hard. It's easier to start with a brighter base coat and then just go over with washes to create the effect. When you start with a darker base color, you really gotta fight it to get the brightness back into it. So I tend to lean more towards, but you know, there's all kinds of different effects and stuff you can do. If like you start, say you start with a, if you start with a dark base color and you work your way up with like dry brushing, lighter coats on top, it'll create a different look, which might be something, might be the look you're looking for, you know. Make sure this base color gets everywhere. Add a drop of water here to this so it really moves around a little bit more. All right, we ran out. We need more. So it's okay whenever you run out and you need to make the same color again, just try to remember what you did. And if it's not 100% the same, that's okay. It's okay. It's okay to have a few different similar colors next to each other. Once you do all the washes and stuff on top, nobody's gonna notice. And in fact, it actually, I think it even enhances your paint job by having more color variety. That's pretty close. That's a pretty easy recipe. I had to be more careful here because we painted this wood over here, so we're gonna make sure we get a nice coverage without getting it on the wood. So instead of going in with the brush like this is a great way to get your edges. You just kind of go like this with the brush and just watch the very tip of it and kind of slowly work it closer, going with the flow of your line. So start back here and then push slowly forward until you get that nice line. Just like that. The metal rings, I'm not sure. We could use the natural color of the metal and just do, I'll probably just do washes on top of it. But the paint, acrylic paint doesn't like to stick to metal, so it might have to be probably varnished with something first. Like enamel paint sticks really well to metal, so I probably need to get some enamel paints. Get some sort of a base coat on there before I can go in with the acrylic washes. Got a little bit on the wood there, it's okay. Clean that, we can clean that up. Make sure we didn't miss anything. Let's turn it upside down. Sometimes little spots like to hide from you in the shadow of something. Alright, now our shoe is basically dry, so you can see the results of that. The leather shoe. See, by doing the dry brushing first, and then going over the whole thing with a light wash, just brings it all together. So. And then we can keep layering. We can add a little bit more dark here and a little bit more highlight, and then go over with another wash, and until you have this desired result. Like I could see, you know, let's do that. Let's take a bit of brown, and we're gonna add some gray. Light. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah, leather white is nice. I'll use this gray color though. We're gonna create like a faded brown look. We're gonna hit any of the edges we want to look a little more worn. Kind of do a little bit of an edge highlight near the bottom of the shoe. A smaller brush here. That's a good color right there. Now with this, you can go a little bit watery on this. Not so much that it's a wash, but kind of like the thicker wash we did on the weapon, on the sickle. And this will just help us get a nice control here. So I just touch the edge. Like so. Pretty much anywhere you want to add fading. Just makes it look like it's more like it's been on them some time. Let's take that faded color and dry brush it onto the bottom of the shoe. So the whole bottom has that same faded look. So probably don't even need to, you know. Pretty nice. So at this point with this, I would probably, as soon as you're happy with just the, you know, you focus on the leather and you just keep working your layers till you're happy with it, doing dry brushing and washes. And then once you're happy with the base material, then you start going in and you do like the laces, this metal band here, and you're gonna be very careful now to make sure that you don't mess up your base layer. And if you do, you can just go back in with some brown and try to clean it up. Let's see how we're doing here. All right, we still got some time. That's good. We'll do a little bit of that next layer while we wait for the yellow on the basket to dry. Let's actually go back to the weapon here. So it's two layers down on this. There's the overall wash, the general wash, and then we added a little bit more darkness towards the base with another layer of wash. And I could probably push that further if I want to, but let's just do the next layer. So what color will the laces be? Well, you can decide whatever you think would look best. Usually either dark or bright laces. So typically it's like black or a dark brown, or you do them white and then you go over them with a wash, like a brown wash, to create, you know, kind of like that nice lace look. I think for him it might look good to have brighter colored laces. So we'll go in with like probably this leather white here. This leather white color. It's not pure white, but it's, you know, it's more of like a dull white. And then we'll go over with a wash once all the laces are done. So this here, I want to do the next layers here. Let's make an orange. Oh wait, okay. Actually, you know, let's just take some of this basket yellow here And let's make an orange off to the side here. We're gonna make a rust color. Take some of that into this. Maybe a bit more. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna take that, and we're just gonna, orange usually doesn't cover very well, but let's see here. We're just gonna see how this brush is like all broken apart, not a nice tip. Actually can come in handy for effects like this. We're gonna be adding some, a little bit of rustiness to this. I'm just gonna, it's a little bit too intense, so I'm just gonna push the cloth on it, tone it down just a smidge. Oh, maybe bring it back out a little bit more. We'll let that dry. That's actually not gonna take too long. Let's do the next step. What can really bring like weapons and stuff like this to life is let's get back our basic metal color from the beginning. It's metallic. And after you're done doing all the washes you want to do to make it look the way you want it to look, you go back in with the base metal color, and you just like we did with the shoe, we just do an edge highlight on all the sharp edges. Ooh, a bit too much. It's okay, we can use that for the so we'll get our small brush here. Usually with metallics, you don't want to water them down even a little bit because they already have a hard enough time covering. Just the edge on this corner too. It's nice how just that little touch can change everything. I'm just using the side of the, if the edge is sharp enough like this, you just use the side of the brush. Just run it along the edge. Be nice. You could have some of these little scratches that come in, kind of like it's a new scratch. Kind of paint those in a little bit. Just a few of them. You see the difference there? The little edge highlight. All right. And, you know, like if we had more time, I would probably do more. You could even do an edge highlight like this and say it's a little too intense. Go back over with another general wash. Tone it back down, but it'll still be there. And then, like, once we get the handle, wood handle painted, we would do, you know, we would do metal here again, and then I would do rust all around this. I'll just show you. The handle's not painted yet, but, you know, we would do the metal color first, and then we would go in with that rust color, but in a wash, so it kind of goes around the bolt here. Just show you. Get that rust color, get it nice and liquidy, and we just take it and you just have to touch like that. And then rinse the brush, and now I'm just gonna absorb some of this till I see the, there we go, just like that, see? So now you have the metal color in the middle and then like a ring of orange around the metal color. But you'll want to wait until the wooden part of the handle's done first. Our handle's just base coated for now. Oh. Okay. How's the basket looking? Let's see here. Yeah, it's still a little bit wet. It's because I thinned it out on this side, so it's still a little bit wet. Alright, let's go back to the shoe. Start doing our next. Your next step on the shoe would be starting to work in these elements that are on top now. So again, you kind of like focus on each section at a time. So now I'm base coating this metal part, and we're doing all our layers of paint for this little metal piece. Now yet this is the point in which you need to start being more careful and, you know, get your edge lines in carefully. And if you go over, just go back in with your shoe base color and just clean up the edges. Ideally, though, you want to not go over. It's a little easier to do the lines here because this layer is above the layer underneath. Right, let that dry and we can do the lace color next. We'll just do a few of the laces because it's gonna take a long time. Let me mix this white up here. I'm gonna use this leather white. Got a clogged one. Declog it. There we go. So you could use pure white, but nothing in the medieval fantasy world is pure white except for Gandalf the White's robes. Even his robes aren't pure white. There's always a little bit of dirtiness, right? So I usually don't use pure white for pretty much anything. And unicorns. This one you'll be very careful. Just lightly touch. See, because these are 3D sculpted laces. Just slowly move closer till you're touching that high spot, you know. Just like so. And don't worry about getting all the way in that hole with the white, okay? Because when we do the wash over these, it'll blend it all together nice. We just want to make sure we get the majority of the lace detail painted. See, even with this off-white color, how bright and vibrant it is, you know? That's why we have to tone it down with layers of wash. And this is what I love about the painting process, is this, so you can do things in so many different ways to create so many different effects just using these three kind of things: base coating, washes, and dry brushing. You can do all your highlighting first and then do a big wash over the whole thing, tone the whole thing down together, and then go back in with more dry brushing and then do more washing. And you could base coat things with a darker color first, or a lighter color, or a mid-tone. There's just so many different kind of combinations, and then different colors you choose, and the possibilities just with those simple steps is endless. And you can create really nice paint jobs. You get to experiment and you get to create really nice paint jobs no matter how your experiment ends up. And that's simply just scratching the surface of the painting world. There's airbrushing, there's all kinds of stuff. There's effect paints. Maybe I should show you guys one of my favorite effect paints. So even though the rust effect on our blade looks really nice, I want you to see something. I have an effect paint that creates very realistic looking rust, requiring zero skill. Let me show you. Go grab it. So, I mean, there's a million different paints out there in the world of paint that you can buy, and effect paints and all kinds of stuff. But never feel like you can't do something because you don't have a certain paint or effect. Hey, what's up, Uncle Dale? Good morning. But, so, you can paint rust just like I showed you with different layers of color. Or you can get an effect paint like this. And I'll show you. It's pretty awesome stuff. This is what it's called here. I just want to show you an example of what an effect paint can be. Dirty down rust. Okay. That's what it looks like. Just show you. Let's just show you in this. So you paint it wherever you want the rust to be. And watch when it dries. And the thicker you paint it, the more it looks like. If it's thin, it looks like thin rust. If it's thick, it looks like thick rust. So you can go in and kind of go back into areas you want it to look a little bit even more rusty. Once it dries, of course. We'll let that dry and I'll show you how it looks. So that's just it's gonna be a small taste of an effect paint. Am I gonna show you how to paint the beard? You're a little bit worried about that part? Okay, yeah, we can talk about that. So the beard is essentially the same method as the basket here. Usually I like to start with the brightest color, and then just doing washes to create the different kind of like shades and fading between the different colors. So I think his beard's probably gonna be more of like a gray, maybe have some black in there and some browns. So I'll start with that lighter gray color, probably the same color as these laces, to be honest. Paint the whole thing that color and then just go in with washes. Do a wash over the whole thing of maybe like a dark brown, and then bring out certain areas. You know what, let's just dive into it real quick here. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. Now, yeah, we'll do a lighter color, base color. And then you just go back and forth with your washes and your dry brushing until you have the desired look. And then usually like around the mustache area, you add like a little bit of brown, maybe got some stains from his old pipe or something. So let's see. Well, add just a little bit of water, not too much, because we don't want it to drip. And really work it into those recesses here. I'd say towards the face is the part you would definitely want to be more careful of. And so here, as we get closer, see how I overlap the skin tone onto the mustache and the bottom of the lip here? I'll paint in really solid here until I get to that line. And then, once my paintbrush doesn't have as much paint on it, I'm going to go with directional strokes going this way We'll go like this. And kind of allow some of that skin tone to peek through. See that? So that, because facial hair doesn't have a solid transition from, it's not like a solid line where it's like white and then skin tone right next to each other. There's usually a gradient there, you know. So, and you can go, you know, let's say I did this too much, I want to bring back that skin tone. Just do the same thing, paint your skin tone back on there, and then just kind of dry brush. You can even use the makeup brush if you want to be real careful. Same with like right here on his cheek there, you know. We'll just, you know, we'll paint it in solid over here. And this is that leather white color. It's the same color I'm using for the laces. You know, paint it in really solid here. And then just kind of just dry brush your way up to the parting line here. There we go. It's just a softer transition there. And other than that, we're just gonna get the base color locked in, and then yeah, then it's just kind of just like washes. I just go with washes on top of this, and if you, after you're done doing your washes, go back in with a dry brush, like kind of like up the middle here, to like just bring back out the brightness of the highlight of the beard, you know. Just be very slow and careful with these parts that are near the shirt. It's okay if you don't get it into all these little recesses, because the wash will get those areas painted in, you know. Color wash would go over it. Black or a dark gray. Maybe start with dark gray. I would do you know, a lot of beards have multiple, I'm speaking from experience, multiple colors. And a lot of times, like my mustache is more blonde than the rest of my beard. And then my lower part of my beard has even some like red hairs in it in places. And then a cool trick too is, say you want that nice salt and pepper look, you can go with a really dark wash, you know, to really make it not white. If you wanted like a gray or black colored beard, then you can take the silver paint and go and pick out little hairs and bring some silver, some stray silver hairs in there. Creates that like salt and pepper kind of look. So you could start with like a darker base color if you want, or like brown or something like that. I'm choosing more of like grayscale because there's gonna be so much brown on this character from his equipment and stuff. That I think white will do the trick. Well, this is like an off-white again. We'll just let this section dry and I'll kind of show you. I can't just paint the whole thing. We don't have enough time, unfortunately. So I'll let that dry and then I'll kind of just show you what the washes will look like. Same technique for the eyebrow. Now the eyebrows, you want to let more of that undercolor show through because eyebrows are not... It's easy to get too intense with the eyebrows. So maybe go at it with a dry brush from the get-go. Just like that. And just very subtly bring those eyebrows in. Oh, I went a little bit over there. Oops. No worries, we can clean that up. Yeah, because if you go with like a heavy base coat on the eyebrows, it's going to it's like be too intense. I'd be very careful about doing the washes on the eyebrows too. Just make sure your brush isn't loaded up, because as soon as you touch the brush there and it's loaded with wash paint, it's just gonna drip all the way through your face. And that's okay. If that happens, immediately rinse your brush and hit it with that watery brush and just remove the paint right away. Okay. It's only when you like don't act on it right away that it'll actually mess anything up. So, because acrylic paint, it very easily is water soluble before it dries. So you just get a wet brush and just, you know, just go over it really quick and then soak it up with like a paper towel or whatever. All right, let's take while that's drying, let's take a look at this, see if this is dried yet. Yeah, it's getting there, but you can really see that nice rust effect there. So much of that. Actually, I don't know if it's actually dry. I wonder if it probably needs to be mixed a little bit more too, because it's supposed to be a matte finish. Oh yeah, I can see the ball bearing at the bottom there. Hold on, I gotta get this mixed a little bit more. There we go. It even says this on the instructions for this. Use at room temperature. Shake hard before every use with ball bearing rattling. Okay. Oh, there we go. I can tell it wasn't mixed because it was still shiny when it was drying, and this stuff's really matte finished when it's dry. Rust is a very matte finish. Rust is never shiny unless it's wet. Hello, Kaylee. Alright, let's give that a try. Oh, thank you for the kind words there, Jolini. Alright, let's let that dry, see how that's looking. Alright, so let's go back to the basket here. Now I could see, you know, there's so many different ways you can do this, man. It's awesome. So many different ways to experiment and pursue the paint job. So what I'm thinking is let's dry brush a lighter color on these high spots here before we do the wash. So let's take some of that leather white that we're using for the beard, and we're just gonna do just a little bit of the original yellow color here. A little bit more of the white. You know, yeah. Okay. Now, you know what, I'm gonna leave the brush kind of saturated with the paint here. I'm just gonna go like this. Okay. And we'll fade it in. We'll fade it in once the brush gets less saturated here. That side's still not dry. No, that's all right. Okay. Now, kind of remove the excess. And then blend it in. Okay. Now this side is still wet, so we're gonna want to let that dry. But the next step for this is gonna be the washes. We'll probably do like a general wash over the whole thing, but then we'll go in with different colored washes and go into these deeper areas and really bring out almost like different material colors. Maybe for like each strip is just kind of a slightly different tone, right? Let's go back down. Actually, let's see. Is this dried? Yeah, look at that. Isn't that nice? So now you can see that matte finish, really rusty effect, and you can see in the areas where I put more of it, it looks like more rusty, darker. And then, you know, you could go back in here with that silver, bring out the edges again. Yeah, and then where there's a scratch, you can even bring more of that silver in. The top of this rivet. Yeah, so that's a little sample of how effect paints can really make things look nice without taking a long time. Now I know, but the thing is there's so many different paints out there, and a lot of times the really nice effect paints are pretty expensive. Like I think this little tub here is like 30 bucks. But man, if you can get it, it's worth it. If you can't get it, there's other ways you can make rust. Don't worry about it. I've not tried their other stuff yet, but I've heard good things. They have like a copper patina color and moss, like some sort of moss color. This is the one I've used though, and I really like. What it does is the best job for rust I've seen. So. But there's just too many out there that you're never going to be able to buy them all, so just kind of, you know, maybe what I like to do is maybe like every project or every 2 projects I'll buy I'll try another thing, you know. So you're steadily trying things out and seeing what you like and what you don't. And that way you know, you're not spending all your money on all these different paints that you'll never use, you know. So okay. How's our beard looking? Yeah, almost dry. This side's not dry, but this side is. So, you know, let's just start demonstrating the washes over here. And let's see, let's do a muddy brown here. Muddy brown. And just a little black. Add the water. Ooh, that's too intense. Okay, so we're gonna water it down a lot. Lessen the intensity. Okay. Now we're gonna take this and we're gonna go over the whole area. Just like this, okay? Okay. Make sure we get it all. Okay. Now take our napkin. going to absorb it back up. And naturally it's going to create shadow in the areas we can't even reach with the cloth. So. So there's the difference. A little bit more brought into the real world. Now, I probably would use a little bit less black, maybe more leaning on the brown side, but it still works. So I can see a little spot we missed, though. Oh, there's just no texture there. That's why. Okay. Right, brings out all of our detail, all our detail work. Then we'll let this dry, and then we'll go back in with washes to bring out individual colors for these kind of bands. You know, like let's add a little bit of get a little bit of red here. Yeah, that color looks pretty good. So let's just say maybe this one right here. That's too watery. Okay, hold on. This wash is too much of a wash, so let's add a little bit of paint back into it with some brown here. Yeah, it's better. Okay. You're just like you're just tinting it. Everything underneath is, all the colors underneath are coming through still. I need a smaller brush. It's probably a little bit too subtle still. That's okay. Oh, now you can definitely see that band is slightly different. Mix in a little bit more red. Bring back some of that yellow. I think it's also because I didn't wait for the wash to dry, so it's sticking a little bit less. Yeah, let's let that dry. Let it dry. Back to the beard. Okay, so I'm actually going to take just this color right here, this the same dark brown we used for the basket's first wash here, and we're going to go in and just going to start placing it in there. Oh, dang, it's not fully dry. Oops. Yeah. Battling our dry times here. Let it dry, let it dry. back to our stitches here. I would do just like just a normal brown probably. Wash over those strings. Maybe a little bit of orange in the mix, a little bit orangey brown, so red, yellow. No, maybe a little too intense. Let's mix it with that black. Still a little bit too much. Okay. A little bit more black. There we go. Turn it into a wash. Let's use the small brush here. We're just gonna bring them down. You can do as many layers as you want with this type of approach, you know. So if you mix your washes too thin, don't worry. Just you can honestly, if you mix your wash too thin, just let it sit on your tray for a while. It gets thicker and thicker as time goes on. Or you just do a few coats. You can already see these ones lessening they're not jumping out at you as much as these ones up front here. Still would need more though, just a little bit more. Yeah, you know what? I think that's a good spot. I think you guys get the idea. Just using what I've shown you, you guys can really finish this character. There's not really a part that you won't be able to handle with dry brushing, doing washes, and at the end doing edge highlights. You know, think of how the character is gonna wear and tear on the objects that he's wearing. You know, and just put little edge highlights in those areas. And if you add a color and you're unhappy with it, just keep building the layers. Add washes and dry brushes, and don't feel like you really have messed something up. You can always keep working it. Many times you'll feel like it's not looking right, but you'll keep adding layers, and then ultimately you'll love the end result better than if you had like restarted with a new base color, you know. So you can go back and forth with the layers as many times as you want. Because the thing about the dry brushing and the wash layers is they're very, very thin layers of paint. And the only real thick layer is the base coat. So you're not going to be killing any detail or anything doing it that way. So, and yeah, I think I've given you guys enough tools to get the job done. I'm excited to. That means next week I'll have to have mine finished for a reveal. I might. I wonder if we should. I wonder if we should put a week in between. It might be wise to not have class next week and start the base a week after. And that gives me time to, well, gives the missus time to finish it. Because she'll probably be the one finishing the paint job on this, realistically speaking here. So yeah, let's do that. So next week there won't be no class, but the week after we will start the base creation class. So at that point everything will be painted. Any sculpted elements that you want in your base should be painted before you do the base creation step, and you'll see why. We're gonna use pink foam. We're gonna use a material called Sculpting, and kind of create the dirt. We're gonna use all kinds of little things that you can glue onto the base to make it look like plant foliage, and we're gonna really design the environment around him and create a nice finished piece, you know. I'll even go over, in the next 2 lessons, I'll go over the presentation of your work shouldn't just be what you can see here, but also making the base really nice, you know, nice sanded piece of wood, and getting little felt feet and sticking them on there, you know, stuff like that. So, but I'll go over all that stuff. So yeah, let's look at what you guys have been up to. So anyone who's following along or learning, you can submit your... You can watch the past sculpting classes on demand on Twitch. There's a playlist, and on YouTube there's a playlist. But on YouTube, the painting 1 lesson is missing because there was a song somehow got in the mix that now that they like took it away. So I have to try and figure out a way to get that back on YouTube. But it is on Twitch, so maybe go to Twitch and watch the painting 1 lesson. Or YouTube. YouTube has them all except for that one in a playlist. So if you don't know how to get there, let me just show you. If you don't know how to get to Twitch videos, because I know that's not a very common thing to do. Let's see. Let me bring this up real quick. So if you're here on the channel, up. All right. I'm duplicating. Watch out! Here I come. But anyways, so scroll down. So you're watching. You click the name here. All right. That brings this up, and then boom, right there, sculpting class, Woodland Gremlin. It's a whole playlist. Okay, that's all you do. And if you want to see more video stuff, I have other video stuff. You just go to videos. There's recent broadcasts here. There's the class playlist. There's some sculpture showcase stuff. There's anytime we've had cosplay on to talk about their stuff, it's right here, you know, so we got a few little playlists and stuff. And you can even go here where it says filter by and go like uploads will just be like content that was edited first then uploaded. So there's all kinds of things on there. Even some old school stuff. Oh my god, look at that guy. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna go look at Discord and see what you guys have been up to. Let's see here. Let me pull it up real quick. cnotbusch school. And if you're new to the class and you want to join us, you just have to go to Discord, go to the cnot school section here. You can see it. Well, first when you join the Discord, go to the rules tab and react to the rules. There's a little dancing guy you gotta click right here, and that'll open up all the channels. You go to cnotbusch school. You go to cnotbusch school right there, and there you go. You can post your work. Now you have to type in hashtag week, whatever week we're on, to get feedback. Okay, so like I think what are we on? We're on hashtag week 13. Oh, I can see my history. Yeah, hashtag week 13. That's for this week. So if you want to join us and get feedback next time we meet up, you'll do hashtag week 14. Okay, so you'll post your images or video. You type whatever you want and then type in hashtag week 14, and then next time we have class I can look at it and tell you what I think, you know. So so let's see, hashtag week 13. If you have something to submit and you want to submit it before I get done with this feedback, just type in hashtag week 13. But let's begin. All right, torn. Let's see here. Okay, that's an interesting reference you got there. Was that Grumbly Stream? That's Grumbly Stream, I'm pretty sure. It's looking good. All right, I like the highlighting on the collar of the edge of the shirt. You can also, anytime there's like an area of separation like this, it's an opportunity to add in a different color too. So just something to consider. Sometimes it's better to, like, once you go through and you base coated and worked everything, going back in and adding other, like, seeing if you need any color separation anywhere. But yeah, it looks good. Looks really good. August Champus. Okay. Well, managed to make some progress since last week. Got the new LEDs for the glowing mushroom. Ended up using 2 flexible LED filaments instead of LED bulb. I'm actually thinking about experimenting with those LED filaments. It's interesting. Which definitely are a lot brighter. Also made the top of the mushroom cap, which can be removed just in case I need to replace them. Also got his pack almost done, but I may add another item to it. Still need to fancy up his tunic a bit though, and added the part which will be below his belt. I want to try to make the part of his tunic look like it's blowing in the wind. So that's the next task. Then on to mounting the pack on his back and adding the hood to the tunic. I'm hoping I'll have most of the sculpting finished by next class. Now that the LED stuff is pretty much done, I swear I spent more time staring at this sculpture and thinking about how I was going to do the lighting than I did actual sculpting. But it was fun. It was a fun challenge. That's good. Let's see what we got here. Hey. Wow, yeah, that really that light definitely is intense enough for sure. So I imagine you have an LED filament that goes around in a circle here. So, yes. Yeah, it's pretty common. I'll put lights into my work quite a bit, and I think in a future class we'll create a project that focuses around that, so you guys can learn. For those of you that have never done LED light stuff before, I promise you it's actually really simple. And we can do, because lighting is just a great way to add. It just elevates a project. It's an easy way to elevate it to another level. It's not easy, but it's compared to what it would take to elevate the project to that level, fairly simple to really make your work stand out. So, yep. Pretty much was hard to get the filaments where I wanted. I see. To like tack them in place. They were kind of fighting you the whole time. But yeah, we'll make a future project where we do LEDs. So, all right, let's see. Well, I like that. I like the axe. That's really nice. A little mixed media element there. That's very good. Now remember, if you had a hard time getting the paint to stick to that, which you might, you just have to paint it with either like a varnish if you want to keep the original colors, or Or you just go over the whole thing with an enamel paint and then go back over with acrylics. So, because you want to blend that in with washes, so that way it just matches everything once everything's painted. So maybe like an enamel varnish on it, because the acrylic paint will stick to the enamel and the enamel will stick to the metal and stuff, but the acrylic paint will not stick to the metal and stuff by itself, not very easily. So there we go. That's gonna look good, and then he's gonna have the green light hitting his face from the bugs. All right. Right, so you need some sort of coat that's gonna allow the acrylic wash to stick to it. Yeah, or you have to experiment with different washes, maybe like an oil wash. I used to do oil washes a lot, but I switched to acrylic because I'm impatient. But I really do like oil washes. The oil wash procedure is like you base coat and you do your dry brushing with acrylic, but then you do your washes with oil paint. And the oil paint and the solvent for the oil paint does not affect acrylic, and the acrylic paint and the solvent for acrylic paint doesn't affect the oil. So it's like you can really create this layering effect, but you have to wait for the oil to dry, which takes a long time. So all right, let's go, let's keep going here. Lavid. I finished the pants and some accessories. Okay, let's see what we got here, Lavid. Oh yeah, all right, it's looking nice. Some really clean lacing there on the shoes. It always stands out to me. It's gonna be easier. The cleaner job you do on certain things like that, the easier it is to paint. So very nice. Oh, and some accessories. Let's see. It's a nice stamped in texture. Got a little bottle. Some bags. It's so funny. I can see you already have a sculpting style. You can see it just throughout the whole thing. That's good. It means it's all going to go together real nice. So, nice work. All right. Dragon. Well, I'm calling this done. Very happy with how this turned out. Thank you for the class, the guidance, and all the help. Thanks everyone for the encouragement and inspiration. I can't wait to see them all finished, including the new ones to come. Happy sculpting. All right. First project reveal. Look at this. All right. Ooh, yeah, it's really nice. This reads really good here, especially with that, just the way the lighting hits it and everything. Really nice. The colors. So cool. Dragon overachieving again. Now, don't be discouraged, other sculptors out there. Dragon's been on the pursuit of sculpture for a long time. So, well, not a long time, but he's not his first rodeo. We'll just say that. So, it's good. We all work at different paces. Okay. We're all at different levels. We're all learning. That looks awesome. Ooh, that's good, man. I like the, see how he did the dry brushing of the kind of the grayish black on the upper lip and the sides of the face, creating that 5 o'clock shadow look. That's a good one. Very nice. Skin tones read really well. You can see the yellows are more towards the highlights and the reds are more towards the shadows. Very good. Cast iron pan. All right. I painted that skin 3 times. Yeah, I bet you all the layers helped you get that final look too. Looks really good. Now, okay, so one thing I'd like to see here is the presentation of your piece can be a little bit better. Okay, right now we have the light coming from this direction, right? Right towards it. You can see the shadow behind it. If you had more of a dramatic lighting from the top, it would sell, in the photos, it would sell this piece much better. Because, like, for example, this shot right here, this area bothers me because it's all kind of one tone. Even though I'm sure it's not actually all one tone, but it's because the light is coming from that one direction. Okay, all right, good. Yeah, because I want to see. That's something to keep in mind, folks. Is the way you show your piece is just as important as the piece itself. You know, so you have to kind of become a little bit of a photographer. I cheat. I have a significant other that does my photography work for me, but that's just over time. You just pick up on these simple tricks that will always make every sculpture look good, and one of them is having your main light source coming from above. It could even be above from a certain angle, but somewhere from above. And it creates, what it does is it creates shadows down throughout the piece, letting you really see, you know, the forms and the shapes, and just makes it more dramatic. Not like super intense, you know, you still want light from other directions too, so there's not just pieces like cast in shadow. But yeah, we need photo classes. Oh man, yeah, maybe someday. Photo and editing classes. Should we get Ina to come out of her shell? Little hermit crab shell. Come on, time to teach. Very good. Okay, that's all I have to say about that there, Dragon. Very awesome work, man. A successful piece indeed. All right, Fuzzy. Amending my previous week 13 entry, I got a lot more done than expected. Just need to add his floppy wizard hat, do a few things for the base, and then it's on to painting. Amazing how much hair will change the entire sculpture. I know, right? Yeah, I totally agree. All right, we got video here. What a gentleman of a character. He's rather enjoying that book. That's cool, man. Let's see, let's take some photos. Oh, that's right. Okay, this is the one that got a little extra crispy, adding the extra texture. Ah, that's really nice. That's every project will have money shot angles, and this is definitely like a money shot angle right there. Yeah. Oh. That right there. That whole side. Awesome. Excellent. Nice work, Fuzzy. Now, something to keep in mind when you're choosing the type of hat he's going to have is when you're adding the hat, if you make the brim of the hat almost like too big or intense, just keep in mind that the shadows, what the shadows are doing, okay? Because the last thing you want to do is shadow out your entire work on the face and all that stuff. So, and also he is reading too, so you know, but I don't know, just something to keep in mind. Just pay attention to that details. It's easy, I've done it before, where you overlook that and then you get done with the piece and you're like, oh, I can't see the face at all because it's always in shadows. So just keep that in mind. But great work. I'm excited to see more from you. Toadstool Titan. This is the first class I'm unable to attend due to me having a busy morning, but regardless, this is the small amount of progress I've made this week. That's all right. Small progress is better than no progress. That's all right. That's looking awesome. Oh yeah, I got a little tuft of hair coming out of the hat there. I like that. Looks like a texture stamped texture. Just pushing some cloth into the clay. A lot of that texture work you don't really see until you do the painting. When you do dry brushing over texture like that, it jumps out like immediately. So really make use of that. So like say something like this, I would use like, let's say it was like a burlap sack type of color. I would do more of like the medium brown tone and then dry brush the yellowy tan color, and that would really bring out that texture. Yeah, looking good. Very good there, Toadstool. Jabez. Most of the painting done now. Once the beard is painted, I will glue all the accessories and backpack in place. Not happy with the second right hand I made, so I'm going on a third during the week. Third time, luckily. Third time's the charm. Okay, doing another hand. All right. Nice. See the nice edge highlighting on the belts here? How much that makes a difference than if they were just all one color. Very good. Now yours will do, so what can throw this off is the shininess that the paint finish has. So get yourself some of that matte varnish, ultra matte varnish, and that's gonna really help. You can leave, like, for example, once you're finished, you can leave the boots shiny and then make the pants dull and this dull, and it'll create this contrast of material. So yeah, it looks really nice. Skin tones are reading really well. Third time's the charm with the right hand. Okay, cool. Nice work. Nice work, J-Biz. Red ticket. Still a bit of painting to go. Added some red with a dry brush and as recommended on the nose and cheeks, and both have hats and are detached at the moment for painting. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, these are the brothers. Ah yeah, look at that. Look at that look at that nose. Yeah, see, look at that. That looks nice. Nice red nose. Maybe there's a chilly mountain breeze, you know? Very good. Same thing, you can see the shininess of the finish. Just make sure you get some of that. Make sure you get some of that varnish. Either get this, I recommend getting the stuff I have because I just know it works, but some sort of ultra matte varnish, and when you're done with those areas, just go over it and it's gonna be a game changer. So it's awesome. The brothers. Awesome work there, Red Ticket. It's looking good, my friend. Let's see, Saradini. I'm now happy with the face of my old man. His eyes were hard as they are so small. And I have realized that I have a lot of fiddly places to paint. Try to give my younger character hazel eyes, and I am not sure it has worked. The painting is really bringing them to life. Okay, let's see what I got. Yeah, unfortunately, with this type of sculpting, with this layered sculpting, and the fact that we're not making molds and casting, there tends to be a lot of hard to reach places. But over time, you'll learn to attack those areas first. Because you can see in the earlier stages of the painting, you can be really sloppy. I've even gotten to the point where I couldn't reach an area where I mixed up a wash, and I was just like dripping it in there and swirling it around, you know, so stuff like that, to kind of address those hard to reach areas. And then also, if you really think about it, if it's that hard to reach that you can't, you know, a lot of the times if it's so hard to reach you can't get a brush in there, it's also very hard to see, so it's not going to be that big of a deal if you can't get any paint in there. So but yeah, it's looking really good. I like the colors so far with the brown pants and the kind of the off-white sleeves. I imagine his color is going to come in either in the vest or in the hat. Is one accent color. Looks good. Well, the eyes read well. Is that his bug companion? Oh yeah, you know, that works. I think that reads well. Hazily eyes. Very good. Nice colors. It's gonna go good together, I can tell. Blonde hair, I imagine. Guess we'll find out. Alright, Clayton Creates. Got most of his clothes base coated. A thin black wash hides a lot of sins. That's true. Yep. Washes are your friend. They help you do things and make things look really nice. Because the work was done in the sculpting phase, and we're just, by using washes and dry brushing, we're letting the sculpture kind of dictate how things look, not the, you know, not a super controlled painting technique, you know. So it looks really nice. That looks very good. Again, I love the color scheme we get going on here. I could almost see his bedroll being like an accent color of some sort. Maybe like a blue or a red or something. Not a high pigment though. Kind of like how you got the green toned down. All right. Nice work, Clayton. It's looking great. Sherry, you're so right. It's tough to get the camera to show colors. They are pretty close. I took them outside in the rain. Next, I want to get the beard and eyebrows painted and do more layering on the base colors. Having a blast. Okay. Oh, yeah, look at that. Wow, great job on those eyes. Holy cannoli. It's got them beautiful eyes. They jump right out at you. Great job. Wow, yeah, really good job on the eyes, Sherry. Anime eyes, yeah, exactly. Really good, really good. It's not easy. Eyes are not easy, but if you can do them really well, it makes a huge difference in the piece. So, very nice work. There's a testament to spending extra time making the eyes right there, because I'm sure it took a long time. Luca. Hello everyone, this is my first post. Welcome to the class, Luca. Everyone say hi, Luca. I'm trying to catch back with the lessons as best as I can. Really love sculpting and I never attended a class. A little bit nervous to share my work. That's alright. It's okay. I think sharing your work's a very important step. It really is. Because you're also creating a little bit of an accountability, which is what we want. Because we want you to finish this piece, you know. Now that you've shared it, now we're all going to be clamoring and waiting for you to finish. But that's perfectly normal to feel nervous about sharing for the first time. Has been very helpful following this lesson for wiring. Trying cosplay, much better than Sculpey. And basics all around. Okay. Always had problems with posing and stability of the sculpture. I would like to attach a crow or an insect on the right arm of my character. Any suggestions on the best way to do it? Yes. Let's take a look, though. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. Ooh, a new villain. Yeah. He does not look like the good guy of the story, I think. But looks awesome. Really, really good. Awesome expression. The way you did the bags under the eyes is like really realistic. And the nose shape is really unique. So you can always tell when somebody's used reference very closely, and you definitely did a good job. So, all right. Oh yeah, those are bad guy boots for sure. The little steel points there. He needs therapy. Cool. Yeah, this is excellent. Okay, I see. All right. So that's where we're at. Nice. Don't worry so much about catching up, because, like I said, even if we've moved on to the next project, I want you guys to still submit your progress on this project, because I really want to stress that it's all about learning, and there's no deadlines here, you know. I mean, don't let a project just fall to the wayside and never get finished, but also don't worry so much about being caught up, you know. So it's always fun to look at the work either way. So, but you're doing a good job. So as far as attaching the companion to the arm, what you want to do is you want to just make the companion as a separate entity, separate thing that you'll then attach later. So what you can do is use a really small gauged wire for the legs of the creature, and make those pieces of, let's say it's a crow and it's got 2 feet, make the wire so it's longer than the actual feet, so you have a little bit of a stem at the bottom of the feet. And then what you're going to do is you're going to drill later, once everything's all done and it's ready to be painted, you're going to drill 2 holes exactly where the feet go, and after both parts have been painted, you're going to glue it in place. So almost like an outlet plug, you know. So, but for the entirety of the creation of this, they're going to be 2 separate things. So I would get some small gauge steel wire. I don't know what size is this? This is 30 gauge. I'd say maybe even a little bit thicker. Maybe like maybe like a 25 gauge or something. I don't know, you might have to just do some shopping. You want it to be sturdy enough. 26, yeah, maybe 26. You want it to be sturdy enough, but also not too thick, because you gotta think how thin crows' legs are, or even insects. They're very thin, so just sturdy enough to hold the weight of the little creature, but not too thick that it's gonna make the legs chunky. Because you also have to get some clay around there to sculpt that. So, and when you're attaching clay to that tiny little armature, I'd recommend trying to use super glue instead of clay glue. Just be very careful not to add too much. If you add too much super glue, just dab it with a little paper and soak it up. You just want a very small amount of super glue is all that needs to hold it on there. So, but yeah, so that's how you do it. Let us know how it goes, and feel free to ask more questions along the way. So, more than happy to help you. Welcome to the class. Awesome submission there. Fuzzy, edit to remove hashtag for only one entry. Oh wait, okay, didn't we already see this? Okay, yeah, this is the, all right. So we already seen this one. All right, cool. Let me just make sure we got it all. All right, yeah, we did. Nice work, everybody. So next week there's no class. That gives us time, me and the missus, time to finish painting this and all its accessories. And then, so a week off next weekend. The weekend after, which is, let's see, which let me get some dates going here. So next week is the 5th. No class on the 5th. The 12th. So the 12th. We will start class back up on the 12th. So that's 2 weeks from today. And we'll start the basing class, where I'll show you guys how to do mixed media base and how to tie it all together. So cool. All right, and with that, everybody, it's time for me to get out of here. I wish you all a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys for our normal stream tomorrow. We'll be working on Alduin the dragon. Alduin. Hopefully I see you guys then. And then in the evening we'll be working on Lizelle from Baldur's Gate. Pretty sure, so. Let's find someone to raid. Who do we have today? Choices. Oh, you know what? Let's go some wood carving. Delio is doing some wood carving. Oh. Looks good. Looks like a nice piece. I'll get this raid going. Alright, folks. Till next time, my friends. Bye-bye.